Yo, welcome back to another episode of On Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and today's episode we are joined by a very special guest, current professional baseball player Ryan Lidge. Ryan is currently the catcher for the Chicago Dogs in the American Association of Professional Baseball, and he's had a great time playing professional baseball, especially here with the Dogs. Ryan played college ball for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish before playing pro. So this is going to be a really fun episode, Ryan. So welcome to the show, Ryan Lidge.
Jack, thanks for having me on, man. I look forward to having a good talk here.
Absolutely. But to start things off, like how have you been since you guys have been busy on the road with the Dogs? And so like how's everything with you and the team so far?
Yeah, we're in first place right now. The sneaky elephant in the room is we've lost 10 in a row right now.
Oh.
But we're still in first place. So it just goes to show, we've been taking care of business all year. We're in a really weird losing stretch that we're not really used to, but we got a ton of professionals, a lot of good veterans on the team. And, the thing about our locker room is you wouldn't know if we won or if we lost after games. We handle it the right way and we move on. You play 100 baseball games in a season in this league, and you can't get too high, can't get too low. So we'll find our way out of it. But you know what? This season is the most fun I've ever had playing an amazing group of guys. I wouldn't trade it for the world, to be honest.
Yeah, that's awesome, especially like since like you guys do well, not losing obviously, but like just having like that mindset and like that professionalism that like you don't know if you win or lose games, like if you're an outsider. So like how do you keep that going, especially like as a losing streak just keeps going on and on? Like how do you like avoid like everyone getting down on themselves, even though you guys are treating it the right way?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting because there's a lot of ways you can treat it. A lot of guys like to kind of beat to themselves, but we're just such good friends on the team that like we kind of lose a game, and for the first 5-10 minutes in the locker room it's quiet, and then we start talking about the game. Honestly, we start evaluating. We go over like what went wrong, what went good, and with our own little side conversations, and then before you know it, you're like like that game stunk, but we know like there's tomorrow. And yeah, maybe there's a couple in a row that you don't do so well on, but there's tomorrow. So that's the one thing about this team, again, that's just incredible, that we can move on so quickly because you have to in the sport.
Yeah.
We got a lot of guys in the team that have a lot of experience, played a lot of games under their belt, and they know what it's like to be on a winning team, what it's like to be on a losing team. And we kind of follow those guys' lead. Guys like Michael Krause, guys like Casey Hobson, guys like Charlie Tilson, been playing the game a long time, and you kind of just follow in their footsteps. How are they reacting? How are they going? And if they can handle it, then then that's the way that you got to do it. And that's pretty much what we've been doing all year. Win, lose, same team. When we win, it's a little more happier. When we lose, it's a little more, all right, what can we do to get better? So that's pretty much how we've been handling it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to handle it, especially since you do have a game literally the next day usually, and you're just going game after game. Like you just have to have that quick mindset to switch the flip and be like, yeah, we did this game, we lost. We got to move on until tomorrow, because if we think about it too much, we're gonna lose the next game.
Yeah, exactly. If you're taking your forward to the next day, you're gonna be behind. That's just what it is. You could go 4 for 4 the next day. You don't know. You could hit 4 homers tomorrow. That's just the nature of baseball. You just never know what tomorrow will bring, and that's why you got to stay even keel throughout the whole season. And we do a good job at that. And we'll get through this little tough stretch because we're able to stay positive with our mindsets and not get too down on ourselves. But we will be realistic, saying, hey, we got to turn this thing around. It's not a negative thing. It's just a reality thing. So we got all the confidence in the world in that locker room, and we're going to go win a championship. That's what we want to do. So if we're going to do that, we're going to go through tough stretches. So we'll keep chugging away here.
Yeah, that's all you can do at the end of the day is keep chugging along and doing everything you can control, because that the most important thing is controlling what you can control. You can't really control the outcome of the game. You just got to control how you do those, how you battle through adversity like you guys are right now.
Right, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. So how's everything going for you individually? Like I know you've been in the lineup quite a bit. So like how's everything with that?
Yeah, I'm individually, I set myself a good amount of goals this year. I wanted to be one of the guys on the team that guys could lean on, knowing that every time Ryan comes to the field, he's going to give us a really good chance to win. And I think so far this year, I hope my teammates feel that way about myself. I'm hitting. I wanted to come into the season and finish it by hitting over 300, be a guy that's consistently over that mark. But the number one thing I want to do, I want to drive in more runs. I want to hit more balls over the fence. And at this point in time, I'm at 10 home runs, and honestly, I'm not sure about my RBIs, like 60 something, which is I only hit 6 homers and had like 40 RBIs last year. So I'm doing what I set out to do, driving more runs, hit more balls over the fence. And I knew if I did that I could give our team the best chance to win. Obviously, individual accolades are nice. It's nice to see hard work pay off. It's nice to know that you're helping your team out. And, driving home every day, it's nice to know that you perform the best of your ability. But if I'm going 3 for 4, if I'm going 4 for 4, or I'm hitting the ball over the fence and we don't end up winning that game, I always evaluate and say, what could I have done better to help us win? There's always something else that you could have done, especially as a catcher. Maybe I could have called the game a little bit better. Maybe I could have, helped my teammates a little bit more with staying positive or with an approach against the pitcher. So, individually it's going well for me, but at the end of the day, it's all about winning that championship. I've never won one, and I want to wear a ring by the end of the season. So that's what I'm shooting for. So hopefully by me doing well, that helps the team, and that's all I want to do.
Yeah, I love that mindset and like the goals that you have. So like how important is it to set those goals before like the beginning of the season, especially like, and like what kind of goals are you setting? Because like there's like short-term goals and then there's long-term goals. Like how do you separate them between how you're doing now and like what you do in the off season to help get those goals?
Right. So in the off season, I usually set some long-term goals. So like, April comes along, the season's coming, and I always kind of visualize myself. All right, it's end of September, first week October when the season ends. How do I feel about the season? I always want to visualize myself feeling really, really good about how I ended it, that I accomplished my goals. I see myself. So this off season, I saw myself hitting over 300. That was just it. I had the number 300 in my head, and I wanted double-digit home runs. And then I wanted to beat my RBI total from last year. That was it. I wanted to keep it that simple. I wanted to have more walks than strikeouts also. I should mention that one because that's important, I feel like. Getting on base, you can hit over 300. You can hit double-digit home runs. You also could strike out a third of the time. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be that guy that also walked a lot. And I also can say that I'm doing that. So a lot of the goals that I set for myself, I'm going out there and I'm achieving them. And a lot of that, I worked really hard in the off season on my swing, on my approach, on my physicality, the shape I'm in. But mindset's super important too. And kind of like I alluded to in the clubhouse, you have a lot of guys that can have different mindsets. And I really lean back on the guys that I train with at my facility out in Crystal Lake, Evolution Baseball Academy, ran by Steve Peterson. And Steve helps me a ton with keeping me level-headed throughout the season, making sure that I'm working on my swing, the right stuff in my swing, and the right approach. And I couldn't be where I am without him, because the mindset's the most important thing. You set these goals and you train your body for the season, but the mind's going to take you through the 100 games. Your swing's going to be your swing, but if your brain's off, then you could have some trouble. So I owe a lot to Steve Peterson out at Evolution Baseball for helping me along this season.
Yeah, that's awesome, and just everything that like just to help you like trusting in your training as well, and just trusting like everyone that is training you, like you said, and like it's all like it's a big support group at that point. It's just like it's super important, especially as a minor leaguer. Like everyone needs that support, and like when you do have a bad game, you want people to like bring you up and like take you away from the game to help you keep your mind off the game a little bit, but also like have them there for that support that you need.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's minor league ball or major league or even a men's league softball team, like if you take that real seriously, which a lot of guys do, you know, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends do that. If you don't have like a support group, things can get tough for you. Really, really tough. If you're doing this thing on your own, chances are you're gonna have a tough time. You got to lean on whether it's teammates, your parents, your coaches, your boyfriend, girlfriend. It's you need that group to help you through it. And my support group, I wouldn't trade them for anything. It's my girlfriend, my parents, my brothers, my sister, my friends, my coaches. I have the best support group. That's how I feel. I have the best support group that anyone could ever have. So I owe them my season, to be honest. I couldn't do what I'm doing out there without all those people. You know, yeah, people say, well, you're the one performing, you're the one out there, but when you know you've got all those people cheering you on and believing in you, it helps you believe in yourself too.
Yeah.
You know, you can believe in yourself and bet on yourself as much as you want, but it's really hard when it's just you alone. And especially in this game of baseball, when there's way more failure than success, you need people to help you through that. And I've got some great people in my life. So
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself, and everything with just it's huge. Like in hockey, baseball, like just I've found that out. Like if you got one person supporting you, it makes everything a whole lot easier. Yeah, so like you've spent the past 2.5 seasons with the Chicago Dogs. You've been here since 2020, but before you got to the Dogs, you were with the Winnipeg Goldeyes in the American Association of Professional Baseball before being in a bunch of other leagues before that. So like what was it like to finally like get into American Association and just play in Canada? Because that's an interesting spot for baseball, I would think.
yeah, so it's a long story, man, but I'll keep it as spark notes as I can. I was drafted out of Notre Dame by the Yankees, and I was able to play in the Yankees organization for 3 years. I played at every level except major league. So I got to AAA for a week, had a lot of AA time and a lot of the lower levels. Then COVID happened, and I got released along with thousands of other players in minor league.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I didn't know if I wanted to keep playing or not. My support group helped me out there, and I decided to keep playing. And the Winnipeg Goldeyes, they said they signed me, so I signed them. But because it was 2020 and COVID was still running rampant, the border was closed, so we couldn't play in Winnipeg.
Cool.
I had to go to Fargo. So for one season, Winnipeg, their home field, they shared it with Fargo. So there are two home fields. Two teams are playing at Fargo as their home field. So I was there for a week, got COVID because there are a couple guys on the team that had it.
Oh.
So I'm sitting in a hotel all alone, can't go anywhere, can't go to a restaurant. I'm sitting there. I can't work out because I'm feeling sick from the COVID.
Yeah.
So I'm there for a week and a half. I'm like, what am I doing? You know, this is, I got released. I decided I wanted to keep playing. I play a game and I get COVID right away. So it was really tough. I get back, I get healthy. I test negative. And the first day back with the Goldeyes, the head coach, Rick Forney, who is one of the best coaches I play with, even though I played with him for only a week, he's the absolute man. He came up to me and he said, how far do you live from the Chicago Dog Stadium? And I said, I'm pretty sure I'm only like 30, 40 minutes. And he goes, okay, I'm going to trade you to the Dogs. They need a catcher. I'm going to help you out here, Ryan. You're a good man. And I'm going to let you go home right now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I almost started crying. So I came to the Dogs. Took a while for me to finally get on the field there. And I played a couple weeks in 2020. And I remember at the end of the season looking at some of the guys on the team. I was like, man, this feels right. There's something that feels really good about this. And 2021 happened. We won the North. I had a good season myself. I was an all-star. And that was the most fun I ever had playing baseball. Like the guys on that team and the way that we played, and Butch Hodgson being the manager, oh my gosh, it was a blast. And I was like, man, hopefully we can repeat it this year in 2022. And I can honestly say that it's been just as fun, if not more. We got pretty much the same core of guys still here, with a couple new faces that are helping us out a lot, that have been a really good clubhouse addition. And Impact Field being so close to my house and it being a hometown team for me, and just the way the organizations ran, I didn't think when I was with the Yankees that I would have more fun playing independent professional baseball than I would playing with a major league organization. But I can say with all my heart that this is the best time I've ever had playing baseball. It's the most fun, and it's almost more competitive than what I was used to with the Yankees, because guys are here to win.
Yeah.
Guys are here to win. A lot of times in affiliated ball, you're there for development. So if you're a team that loses and you're not even in the playoff hunt, they don't really care, because you're going out there, you're trying to put up numbers, you're trying to strike guys out, or you're trying to hit homers. But here, if you're not successful, we'll find someone else. Where a lot of times in affiliated ball, they let guys develop and kind of grind out seasons. But in the American Association, you're here to win. And it's been a breath of fresh air for sure. And I think a lot of guys coming from affiliated ball would say the same thing.
Yeah, and your job's on the line pretty much every night. So you just got to go out and perform, especially since you're there to win. Like it's a business. Everyone wants to win.
Right, exactly. And if you don't win, you don't get fans. You don't get fans, the organization doesn't make the money they want, and it's a business at the end of the day. You know, fans are there to watch baseball, and they're there to watch guys win. And if you're not winning, then it's hard on the organization. That's why it's kind of a quick turnaround sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's also a league that allows guys that got overlooked to show that they can play this game. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of guys who played the majors in this league, a lot of guys that have high level playing time in whether it's AAA or AA. There's also a lot of guys that didn't have a lot of time just because they were a late round pick, a free agent, or nobody saw them play in college. And they come into this league and they put up these numbers. And people are like, how did this guy get missed? How is this guy not in the show right now? I mean, there's a ton of players that we play against that are breaking home run records. They're breaking stolen base records. It's like, this guy can play. Why have people kind of overlooked him? It's interesting, but it's why the league is also so great, because sometimes it's a wake-up call for some guys to say, man, you know, the Yankees didn't want me. I got to really figure something out, and it kind of allows for you to develop even more and say, like, I don't have a lot of time here. I got to start working, and that's what happened to me, and it's paid off for sure. I love my time in this league, and I love my time with the Dogs.
Yeah, that's an awesome story and background, because like everything comes to fruition, and it seems like it came to fruition for you, and you're having the best time of your life right now playing baseball, playing the sport you love, like, and that's all you can ask for, especially playing in the minor leagues.
Yeah, a lot of guys, if you forget how much you love baseball, because a lot of times in the minor leagues, and it's not a knock on the minors at all, it's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
Is you worry so much about numbers, you worry so much about performing not for yourself, but so that the organization can call you up, that you forget that you love this game. You forget you love, like as a catcher, I love throwing guys out. I love getting base hits. I love getting an RBI. I love winning. You sometimes tend to forget that the reasons why you love the game. And independent baseball leagues, whether it's the American Association or the Frontier League or the Atlantic League, Pioneer League, whatever league you're in, I would say the majority of the guys come to leagues and they're like, wow, I forgot how much I enjoyed playing this game. Because it's a hard game and you forget it, but you come to a league where it's not about the money, or it's not about who is the highest draft pick, and it's about who's going to help me win and who's going to be a good clubhouse guy. And it's just a breath of fresh air, man. I really can't say enough about the American Association.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's unreal, and just like everything that like it brings you joy. So then, before you went on to professional baseball, you were playing with Notre Dame. So what was your time in Notre Dame like, and just learning the college ball, and like especially since like a college ball is just a step under from pro ball?
Yeah, Notre Dame, man, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It wasn't for me. You know, everyone can see it. You can look at my numbers on Baseball Reference. Like, I didn't have that great of a career at Notre Dame. My whole thing was that I could catch. That's what everyone always told me. I was a good catch and throw guy. I was a good catcher, but like the bat never really came around. But I loved it. I mean, I made some really good friends there. I learned a lot. The game coming from high school into college, it's so much faster. And my freshman year was a huge transition for me. Not just living on my own now, going to college and having to go to class and take care of myself with meals and honestly, like small stuff that you don't think about, like laundry and being able to afford, you know, your late night snacks or, you know, clothes and stuff. Like, it's funny, like the transition you make. And then also you got to do it on the field. And I remember my first fall game, I felt like I was going 1,000 miles an hour. I was like, oh, I was a good high school player. I'm going to be just fine at school. And then you get thrown in the fire, and it's like, oh my gosh, this game is so quick. Guys are throwing harder. Guys run faster. Guys make better plays. Guys swing harder. It's like, bam, you get thrown into it. My first game as a freshman in the spring was at Florida Atlantic University, and you know, it wasn't like this grandiose, but it's a really nice field with good crowds and good college hecklers, honestly. And I will never forget playing that game and being like, okay, I got to do this, and it just felt a million miles an hour. But you get used to it. Notre Dame, which is some top-notch baseball, you know, top 3 baseball conference in college. And if I didn't do that, pro ball would have felt just like it did my freshman year. It would have felt fast. It would have felt quick, and I wouldn't have transitioned as well as I did as a catcher into the Yankees system. So I owe a lot to my time at school, maturing me, becoming a man, and becoming a more well-defined baseball player. I loved it. Again, I wouldn't trade it for the world, and it helped me realize how quick this game can be. And once you learn that, you get used to it, things get easier for you, and you can help you out mentally too.
Yeah, and it's crazy when you think about it, like, yeah, like everything's spinning 1,000 times a second when you first go up a level, but like once you settle in, like it's amazing to see how like simple everything is, and like how much slower you can read the game, and like it just goes by a lot slower, and it's like a lot more simpler than like when you first get there and everything is just getting blown away like everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, you're like, okay, I got to look at the signs. Okay, now I got to get ready for this guy throwing 93, which I haven't seen in my life. And he's also got a slider that's like 85, and no one can see it. And also the guy in center field runs like a 6.2 60-yard dash. So I got to make sure if I hit it hard. And then when I'm catching, it's like, okay, I got to look at the coach for the pitch. Okay, now I got to put it down, but I also got to make sure I look at the runner at first. And like, and I also got to make sure that I'm ready if the guy bunts, and I got to make sure I read the swing and all this stuff. And it's like, you get thrown into it and you don't really realize like all this thinking that go, especially as a catcher.
Yeah.
Like you're the manager on the field and you don't realize sometimes in high school how much you got to actually think. And playing at that high level and playing in some big stadiums where crowds are in your face and they're loud and your heart rate can increase, you start breathing fast, and then your brain starts turning and you forget that, hey man, like this is the same game you played when you were 10. Bases are a little further, guys are a little faster, pitchers throw it a little harder. There ain't nothing different. So once you learn that, and there's a lot of people that it's hard for, and there's a lot of guys where the transition's easier. And but regardless, everyone has to do it. Everyone's got to get used to it. I mean, in the MLB, you get rookie of the years. You get guys who have a sick first year, and then their second year, it's like, man, like what happened to this guy? And it's just being able to adjust and being able to maintain success is not easy in this game. And if you can do it consistently, it's impressive. So, yeah, I mean, going to school there in a great conference was definitely a big highlight in my baseball career. So I think about it all the time, and I wouldn't trade it to go anywhere else and play for any other college and play in any other conference. So I owe a lot to my time at school at Notre Dame.
Yeah. So like, what were some of like your favorite places to play when you were at Notre Dame, and just being able in a conference with a bunch of great schools?
Yeah. I tell everyone my favorite place to play ever, to be honest, I played a lot of minor league games, but ever, just because college baseball is a different game than pro ball.
Yeah.
You only play 50 games, so every game really counts in baseball, and that's kind of rare in baseball. Kind of like I was talking about a 100-game season, like cut that in half. Here you go. Florida State, playing at Florida State was very fantastic baseball fans, but we didn't really have a whole lot of non-conference away, like at home fields. We had a lot of tournaments, so I didn't really get to experience some of that, maybe the SEC schools or the Pac-10 or the Big 12 schools, but Florida State, Clemson, and Georgia Tech, I really enjoyed playing there for sure.
Yeah. So like, what were some of the like biggest like hecklers that you've had that you came across? Like, what were some of the like biggest hecklers there?
Oh man, that's a great question. NC State, North Carolina State, they could get after it. They would let you know that you're not at home for sure. The one that I remember most was actually my sophomore year. We made it to a regional, and we were playing at University of Illinois in Champaign. And there was this one guy behind the stands. Like if I blocked the ball, or if I didn't throw someone out, or I messed the ball up, he would just let me have it. I'm like, man, what's this guy got against me? I was like, yeah, I get it. They want to get in your head, but I was like, gosh, like he's like, that's on you. I never really had that singled out heckler, but which is like, I feel like my own backyard. All my siblings went there, and it's like, man, like I feel like this should
My
be
hometown
right
guy,
now.
and I'm getting heckled.
Yeah, right. So, yeah. Honestly, I hate to say it, other than North Carolina State, like everyone else didn't really get too much. Being a catcher, you don't usually get a whole lot.
Yeah. So like, when you were talking about earlier, you were drafted to the New York Yankees in 2017. So like, what was that draft like? What was the process like to get drafted by the Yankees and then work your way up into their minor league system?
Yeah, so I kind of like I've been saying, like in college, I'm not the same player I am now that I was just a couple of years ago. And in college, at 17, I was catching the way I always caught. I could throw guys out. I could control the game, block balls. The bat just never came around, so I was a little nervous going into the draft that I might not get picked up. My dream is to play pro ball and to make it to the big league, so like it was a big deal for me. And I was actually I talked with the Yankee scout on the phone, and my agent at the time was like, hey, like the Yankees like you, so kind of be on the lookout around, you know, the later rounds, like maybe around 20. Uh, uh, so I kind of went into it not really sure, really praying, a lot of prayers. So on the day with the draft where that round 20 was coming in, I wasn't even looking at like any Twitter feed or any draft feed. I was just, you know what, if it happens, it happens. I'm gonna take my mind off it. And I was actually just playing like video games in the middle of the afternoon, and my mom was right by me, and all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up from all my friends, like congrats, this, and for whatever reason, like didn't resonate in my mind what they're congratulating me about. I'm like, what the heck is all this? Like, what's going on? And so I go on the draft feed, and as I'm looking at the draft feed, my mom's getting a phone call from my sister. And so my phone's loading and stuff, and my mom's like, Maggie, what's wrong? My sister's name's Maggie. What's wrong? Because she was crying, and she was trying to tell my mom, like, I got drafted, but she would say, like, Ryan got drafted, Ryan got. And my mom's like, what's wrong? And then I turn to my mom, I go, hey, I just got drafted by the Yankees. And my mom's like, oh my God, gave me a big hug, you know, but it was a big deal. And then my friend surprised me at night, coming over, we popped some champagne. And then around like 7, 8 o'clock, I get a call from the scout who saw me. He goes, all right, Ryan, congratulations. Time to shave your beard. You're getting on a flight at 8 a.m. tomorrow. I'm like, what? So just like that, start packing my stuff. I had a nice little beard in college, shaved it off. And my grandparents came over to say congratulations and good luck. We all got Yankee hats, and it was really cool. I'll never forget that day for sure. That if it weren't for the Yankees taking a chance on me, then you know, I don't know if I'd be where I am right now. Kept my baseball career alive, and got to play with a lot of cool dudes, a lot of big names with the Yankees, guys who got traded, and getting to play at some cool venues, getting to say I got to play AAA baseball. It's for sure a blessing. But you know, things happen, and they had to, you know, sever ties with me, and still all the respect in the world for giving a guy a chance. You know, again, I'll be completely honest, my numbers weren't that great in college, and even with the Yankees, they weren't good, but they stuck with me, and they gave me some chances. And when they let me go, I had to really reevaluate who I was as a baseball player, and I knew I could catch, but I knew I had to learn how to hit, because I just couldn't do it. And a lot of hard work wouldn't do it, and now I am where I am, and having a good time in the American Association. But that day, you know, 5, 6, 7 years ago, it allowed me to get to where I am right now. And I owe the Yankees a lot for taking a chance on a guy who could throw guys out but couldn't really swing. So I thank you, Yankees, for doing that.
Yeah, it's all you need is one guy to take a chance on you and get you your start, and then just grow it from there and help and develop, and then just go on to bigger and better things.
Yep. I owe him a lot, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But like going throughout like the minor league system over there, like the minor league system is very interesting, because there's A ball, double A, triple A, there's single plus, single minus, rookie ball. So like, how would you describe, like, anyone that doesn't know the minor league system, of just what the minor league system is, and especially like the different tiers that there are?
Yeah, so when I got there, I was sent straight to rookie ball, which is, they call it low A rookie ball. So I don't know if it exists anymore, to be honest, Jack. I think when COVID happened, they got rid of like a couple levels. But I played rookie ball, and then I went to full season A ball, which is about 120, 130 games. Rookie ball is only like maybe 80. And rookie ball is for a lot of the younger guys who just got drafted getting in, a lot of young guys from overseas, whether it's Dominican, Puerto Rico, Venezuela. the young 17, 18-year-olds playing. They get kind of acclimated to playing in the States, get acclimated to playing a different kind of brand of baseball, getting used to the organization, all that kind of stuff, living on your own. That's what kind of those rookie balls are for. So I got a good time in there. I played in Charleston, South Carolina, which is low A, Tampa, Florida, which is high A, you know. So it's like there's a lot of levels. Then you got your double A that everyone usually knows. You got your triple A that everyone knows. And I had my fair share of time at all of those affiliates, and I bounced around. I covered a lot of injuries. So if I was in high A and a catcher in double A got hurt, bam, I'm going to double A, and then I fill in time for a week or two there, and then all of a sudden the low A catcher ball gets hurt. All right, bam, I'm going to fill in for the low A guy in Charleston, and a lot of plane flights, a lot of Uber rides. It was a grind, but I have a lot of good memories, and I got to meet a lot of dudes. Like a lot of guys kind of get stuck in your team, and you work your way one level at a time, whether it's 1 year, a couple years, whatever. And I kind of got to meet everyone. So like every spring training, you get the entire organization there. I kind of like had a feel for the whole locker room versus like, all right, that's an older guy or that's a younger guy. I don't know him, so I'm not going to make my way over there. Like, no, I knew everyone. So I appreciated that for sure.
Yeah, that's where you just got to embrace the grind, because you are traveling so much and just going up and down constantly. You just got to embrace the grind, because playing the minor leagues is definitely a grind, but it's totally worth it.
Yep, for sure. It's that's where your support system comes in again, and that's where, you know, being able to stay even keel is really important.
Yeah, absolutely. But I have a few more questions before we wrap things up here. So do you have any tips for younger players looking to get to that next level, whether it be to JUCO, to NCAA, college to pro ball, or anywhere in between from youth to wherever?
Yeah, I would tell younger players, be honest with yourself. Number one thing, look yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. And I'd say you want to have one. If you want to play college ball, you got to have one tool that stands above everyone else, whether that's hitting, whether that's fielding, pitching, you know, your arm, your speed. You want to stand out above everyone else in at least one facet of the game. For me, it was my arm behind the plate. I had a good arm, and when I showed it off against other high school kids, it was like, okay, this guy's totally different. For some kids, it could be, man, that ball's coming off his bat real hard, or man, that guy's locating this fastball, or he's got a really good breaking ball, or he throws hard, or this guy, you know, he outruns everyone on the field. Or it could be as simple as, doesn't matter what your tools are. Every time this guy steps on the field, he's the best player on the field. He might not be the fastest. He might not have the best arm. He might not have the best bat. But for some reason, every time he goes out there, he's the best player on the field. You gotta stand above the crowd. If you feel like you don't stand above the crowd, you gotta really work as hard as you can to make whatever tool that is stand out. If it's hitting, then you better get your butt in the batting cage. And you better learn mechanics. You better learn how to track a ball. If it's fielding, you know, take 100 ground balls a day, man. Like that's what it takes in this game. It's repetitions and hard work. And honestly, it's as simple as that. So work hard, stay humble, be honest with yourself. And if you feel like you've got a chance, then reach out to the school. If you want to go play Division I, man, email that coach. You know, be bold, give him a phone call. And also know, like, if you want to go D1, but you feel like you might not have a chance, the JUCO route is really a fantastic route to go. There's a lot of late bloomers in this game. There's thousands and thousands of players that could have been Division I players. They just either one, didn't get looked at, or two, were a late bloomer. Like, you were 6 foot going into college, and all of a sudden you're 6'5", and now you're throwing harder than you were before. You know, just I really want to let everyone know listening that, you know, if you're a ball player and you want to go play college baseball, don't give up. Don't give up. You got to keep going. But if you're not going to give up, you also got to keep working. So it's a tough game. It's a grind. But if you're playing it, you know how much you love it, you know why you love it, and don't be afraid to go to a small school and work your butt off to get to where you want to go. But being able to be honest with yourself and evaluate yourself truthfully is going to be the most important step to getting yourself to developing the player you want to be.
Yeah, that's a great tip and great tips, because it is like all about advocating for yourself, especially if you want to play somewhere and you want to you got to work hard, and you also got to stick up for yourself sometimes, because sometimes people don't see you. But if you're that confident in everything, all you need is one person to take a shot on you and get that opportunity.
Yep. Absolutely. And when you get that one person, you know, it might not be the exact situation you want. Play baseball at a high level. I know a lot of kids that could have done it that didn't do it, and they regret it. I tell everyone, play this game as long as you can. Don't tell the game that you're done. Let the game tell you, because it will. It will. But play it as long as you can. You can go have a desk job when you're 30. You know, you can always go back and go get a desk job, but you can't always play baseball, you know, or football or hockey, whatever it is, man. Like, play the game that you love as long as you can until you could say thank you and then move on to your next part of life. But you're only young for so long. You only got these years for so long. So enjoy it. Might be a grind, but you're not gonna regret it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, especially like everything you've been saying. Like, couldn't be more true in everything. And I have one final question for you. Chicago Dog super fan Pat Downey asks, who's your role model, and why did you start playing baseball?
That's a great question. I know the answer to starting playing baseball is because, you know, my dad actually played professional hockey, but I really think, I really think his first love was baseball. My cousin played in the major leagues, actually. Brad Lidge, he won a World Series with the Phillies. And so I think it just kind of like ran in the family. My older brother loved baseball. My dad loved baseball. And from the get-go, you know, my dad's like, he would tell me, you could have played any sport you wanted, but you guys just always swung the T-ball bat. You guys always played catch. So we're like, okay, I guess they're also baseball kids. So following in my brother's footsteps, following in my cousin's footsteps, you just kind of start to fall in love with it. And if I didn't like it, I wouldn't have played it for sure. Like, if I was 12 years old, that's the kind of kid I was. Like, I would have let you know, like, nope, I don't want to do this, but I just kept going out there and playing. And every time baseball season came around, it was the highlight of my year. So that's pretty much why I play. And my role model, I mean, I've got so many of them, but the one I look up to most nowadays is my twin brother, Dylan. Dylan, we don't look alike. He's a little shorter than me, but I'll tell you what, there's no one mentally stronger than him. And I got to play with him all through high school. Once we went to college, that was the first time we didn't get to play with each other in baseball. But Dylan went through a lot of injuries. And with that said, I still haven't met anyone who worked as hard as Dylan when we were going through high school and even in middle school. He was the hardest working sixth grader I ever seen. He's doing push-ups. He's doing ab workouts. And I was the lazy kid. I was the guy. I wasn't doing anything. So finally, I woke up a bit in high school where I'm like, man, look how hard my brother's working, whether it was in school or whether it was in baseball, and look how hard I'm working. I'm a lazy little fat kid. I gotta start, you know, that's when I started looking up to him and saying, like, if Dylan can do this, they can do it while he's hurt, just going through these injuries, and you know what, I can. And ever since then, I always looked to Dylan for advice in baseball and everything. So he's smarter than me. He's still more athletic than me. I won't say it to his face, but I'll say it on this podcast. But everything, we always do everything together. So having that brother that's kind of you're attached to the hip with is really nice. And and I'm happy to say that and proud to say that he's my role model for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. At the end of the day, family is everything, and it obviously shows there. And just having role models as family, like you want to impress your family and your role models. So like that's awesome.
Yeah, I owe a lot to him, and he's still a guy that I'll ask questions about whether I'm not feeling so great or struggling with something in the game. But I always lean back on my brother for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But Ryan, this has been a lot of fun. I want to wish you the best of luck at tonight's game, and I look forward to following your career the rest of the way. And I appreciate the time before your game.
Yeah, Jack, thanks for having me on, man. I had a good time. It was an enjoyable conversation, and yeah, best of luck to you in the future as well.